guys, this is Will from Going Awesome Places. In my last video, I showed you how to DIY your own walnut shelves. Well, I've made a lot of changes to my office in the months since, but one thing always bugged me: my desk. Currently, I use a Costco desk by Best Star, and it's been okay. It's modular. In one, you've got a filing cabinet, drawer for miscellaneous things, and an open section for quick access. In the other, you have two levels. On one, I have a laser printer and my Drobo 5C DAS, or direct attached storage. On another level, I've got some documents, business cards, and a recycle bin. Lastly, you have the tabletop. It's pretty simple and made out of the same melamine surface on particle board. I've had this for a couple years now, and I've shifted it into a couple of different configurations to get it to work in my room. And it works is simple, but I've always wanted more desk space and that minimal office setup. Spending that much more time at the home office, I've been really intrigued by the sit-stand desk setup. So I did a lot more research, and one company that really piqued my interest was a company called Ergonofis. It's a brand that you might not have heard of, but once I dug in a little deeper, I really liked what I saw. Okay, with so many companies out there that sell standing desk products, why did I pick Ergonofis? Oh, before we get into that, how do you actually pronounce the company's name? Initially, I actually thought it was ergonofi, but then I thought, is it ergonofis or ergonofis or ergonofis, ergono. Anyways, I'm gonna call it Ergonofis. First of all, they're Canadian, headquartered in Montreal. The amazing thing is that the Shift tabletops are manufactured right in Quebec so that they can maintain the highest quality. And myself being Canadian, we can also reap the benefits of free shipping. 2, the dual motors and the electrical components are actually made in Europe and North America, which is different from some of the competitors which are made in Asia. 3's gotta be the 10-year warranty, which is an industry best. And on top of that, the Shift tabletop gets a 3-year warranty, which is way more than the 1-year warranty that you get with most other tabletops. Number 4 is something personal for me. When measuring out my space, what I really needed was a tabletop that was 24 by 48 inches. And strangely enough, Ergonofis is the only company that offers those dimensions. Number 5 is something that really drew me to Ergonofis, which is the Shift tabletop. It's really made to be accident proof. It's antimicrobial, it's heat resistant, fingerprint resistant, and scratch resistant. What else doesn't it do? Number 6 is the range. As a sit-stand table, it's got to be able to go really low and also go really high. And when I compared specs across the board, Ergonofis had one of the best ranges around, being able to go as low as 24.5 inches and as high as 50.2 inches. Number 7, and lastly, has got to be customer service. Right from the beginning, I could tell that customer service was one of the most important things to company culture, and that was verified by many of my interactions during the ordering process. Now that we got the details out of the way, we can finally set up this bad boy. I actually spent some time removing all the stuff that was on the table, the monitor. The table itself is now gone, a big empty space. You'll see that both of the cabinets are still here. No point in wasting those. I'm gonna reuse them for this setup. All the ergonofi boxes are actually in the room as well. Can't wait to do this. I'll see you guys on the other side. I didn't know what to expect from their special laminate countertop, but from first impressions to weeks of usage, I'm super impressed with the soft touch surface. I've had hot mugs and cold glasses of water, and it handles it all. I just wipe off any water with a cloth or something damp to get the watermarks off. And yes, I managed to scratch the surface a bit from trying to install this wireless charger that charges through the table, but all I had to do was use a magic eraser and all the scuffs were gone. When your arm sits on the table, you also get a nice cooling feeling from it, which I didn't expect and is key because it's that part of the arm that always gets sweaty in the summer. The tabletop surface is also just the perfect size. Just be careful though with your chair because as you can see here, I accidentally spun around a little bit too aggressively and caused a dent on the edge. The frame itself is sturdy and does all the things you expect it to do from its specs. I love how the control pad lights up when you tap on it, which is great if the lights aren't on in the room. It's a slick feature that I haven't seen on any other table brands. From a footprint perspective, it doesn't take up that much space as it's just 2 legs. You do have to be careful though. If you have cabinets like me to access, say, the printer, you do have to make some adjustments to make sure that you can still get to it. From a wobble perspective, I personally think it's fine with an acceptable amount of wobble. I first adjusted the feet with felt pads to protect the hardwood floor and made sure that they were adjusted so that the tabletop was level. When testing wobbliness, it was certainly much more stable at lowered positions and more susceptible to wobble when raised because of the joints of the 3-stage lifting columns. But that's to be expected. You can lean on the tabletop in both scenarios and it's fine. My monitor and webcam do shake quite a bit as you've seen because of the type of arms that I'm using, so I really can't complain there. The biggest challenge I had with the table really came from how my office was set up to begin with. Because I had installed these walnut shelves, I kind of shot myself in the foot. With the DSLR webcam, the microphone boom arm, and the monitor arm, there was just no way I'd be able to clear it without hitting the shelves halfway up to standing position. So ultimately, the solution was to pull the table away from the wall to allow everything to just clear the shelves, and now it's fine. The trade-off is of course that I have this awkward gap behind the table, but I have an idea for a solution later. The mindset shift you have to make with a sit-stand desk is that you actually want more buffer space, I realized, around it, as opposed to having everything tightly touching from edge to edge. It's for aesthetic reasons, but also it's a practical thing. Major lesson, don't install low shelves if you can. The control pad not only lights up, but is of course going to be useful to make a bunch of setting changes. To set heights, all you have to do is tap and hold one of the 4 memory locations and you're done. I've set the 1 to be the sitting position and 2 to be the standing position. You can also set min and max heights easily by pressing 1 and 2 together to set the min height, or 3 and 4 for the max height. To undo it, just press them together again and you'll remove the restrictions. You can also hold the up and down button together to activate the child lock so that you can't change any of the settings. The buttons themselves don't give you tactile feedback, but they're sensitive to touch and doesn't require much force to activate. Also, if there are certain errors that happen, you'll see error codes displayed like this one from when I overused it to film this. The desk also has collision detection built in. I tested it and it works when there's a solid distributed force that it comes up against and will reverse course and rebound the other way a few inches, but let's just say not so great if it's just something on the edge. The speed honestly is pretty fast to go up and down and is really as fast as I'd want it to be. See for yourself. And when it comes to noise, it sounds like this. Okay, I know this doesn't really belong in performance, but one thing I learned early on is that standing on hardwood is not comfortable. So I invested in a standing mat like this one, which provides a lot of cushioning and it makes standing a lot more, well, comfortable. I tuck it in when I don't use it and it becomes its own sitting mat too. This deserves its own section because cable management is a pain when it comes to standing desks. With the ergonofis Shift 2.0, I wasn't sure how I'd be able to organize the insane amount of cables that I knew I'd have to run in and out and around. First, I gotta say, the cable management provided is not very good. That's what these clips are, so don't use them. I tried so many different things over these past couple months, but I finally figured out a few things to keep all of your cables organized. Let's first start off with the logic control unit. This one is luckily already mounted securely, so you don't need to worry about this. Next, we have this Belkin power bar I've had for years, and it magically perfectly fits between the metal bars of the table, and so I have that fastened by 2 jute wires that I picked up from Amazon. The key that really made everything work is this Monoprice cable tray organizer. It's designed for standing desks, but I learned that it's also a perfect fit for the ergonofis. It's easy to install, although I'd recommend not doing it like me after the table's been assembled. What this cable tray does is that it gives you a large space to be able to hide cables cleanly while having different openings for cables to come in and out to the power bar. The other key to cable management is to have as few cables coming in and out of the desk. In my case, I was able to minimize this down to the power cable on the left for the power bar, and on the right I have the Thunderbolt cable to the MacBook Pro and also an XLR cable for the mic. What I haven't quite figured out yet is a good way to manage that main cable from the power bar to the outlet. It's thick and stubborn, and while I like these cable organizers, they just haven't been sticky enough for the metal legs. So I might just have to bite the bullet and use 3M VHB double-sided tape. Lastly, another thing that I got from ergonofis is this power bar outlet. With 3 outlets, 2 USB charging ports, and surge protection, you might be wondering why I need this if I already have a power bar underneath the table. Well, this is meant to be a power bar that gives me quick access without cables and things getting in the way. You can also decide to install it in whatever location you want. In front, in the back, above, or below. But what made most sense for me was to install it on the back left corner facing the wall, so I could have a reliable spot to plug in an accessory real quick or charge a device via USB. It's a nice, soft touch matte black texture, but they also have them in white as well. So here's what I love about this new setup. It looks and feels incredible. I didn't think I'd feel this way about the laminate, but that cool, soft touch is amazing, and it's just so easy to clean. The size is just right as well. I now have the perfect amount of space for my 34-inch Dell widescreen monitor and 2 speakers end to end. And talk about flexibility, I can now switch between sitting and standing anytime during the day to help with productivity. And finally, I love that I can dance to music while standing now. Okay, so what about areas of improvement? Well, first of all, if you choose a black tabletop, know that it reveals dust quite easily. Something I talked about earlier was cable management, and those clips that they provide just aren't useful at all. So plan on picking up your own cable management tools, and I'll have those links in the description. That said, what I do know is that they're working on something that's going to be a little bit more robust, so future tables might have this problem already solved when you pick yours up. From a height accuracy perspective, I noticed that there's a bit of a 0.1 variation, and so you'll see that when you tap it, sometimes it'll jerk upwards or downwards, but the number doesn't change. I've also found that the actual height from the ground is sometimes different from the number that's displayed, so that's something to keep in mind. Lastly, it's no denying that the ergonofis Shift 2.0 is a premium product, and it's expensive. So to help you with that, make sure you use my special 5% coupon code, which you'll also find in the description below. Well, there you have it. The home office is now leveled up once again. Whether you're a content creator like me or just recently switched to work from home, the ergonofis is a sit-stand table you should definitely check out. Thanks for watching, and until next time.